Hi guys, and welcome to class. Today we're going to be talking about the modern day vertebrae and our owl dissection. Unfortunately, I'm sad that we can't do this together, but what we would be doing is if we were together, we'd be doing an owl dissection. Um, Through this, what we're going to do is we are going to be watching a video of me dissecting an owl and kind of looking at some of the things that are presented in the owl pellet. So to clarify, I'm not dissecting an owl, I'm dissecting an owl pellet. So we can understand a little bit more about kind of what that is. So when we get to that point, I'm going to ask you to pause this video, and then you're going to go ahead and watch that video and then come back to this one, okay? So that we can help understand some of those questions. Otherwise, if you feel comfortable, you can stop this video now, watch the other one first, then come back to this one. So here we go. So discussion. So what we're going to kind of talk about is what about vertebrae living on land today? What do we know about them? Well, there's a lot of information we know about vertebrates today. We know that they live on land. We know that they are different types of organisms. We know that they also lived millions of years ago. We know that they have very simple limb structures. So we understand that they had a humerus. We understand they had a radius, an ulna, a femur, tarsals, carpals, phalanges, so like our fingers. So they have many bones in their bodies, right? Just like us as humans. So it's important for us to understand that we went from one bone to two bones to many bones in our digits. So in our our appendages. So it's important for us to understand. Do we have the basic limb structure of those in earlier vertebrates? The answer is yes, we do. We have a lot of similarities to earlier vertebrates back in history. Of course, it's evolved and changed over time, but what does that look like? So now what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and pause this video, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, now that you watched the owl pellet dissection, one of the things you're going to see here is on this page here, these are some of the things you should have been able to pull out from your skeleton. You should be able to find a skull, some vertebrae, a scapula, probably find the humerus, the rib cage bone, something. You may not have found all these bones. These are more of the typical ones you probably would have found. This rodent is probably like a mice or a mouse, a rat, something like that that an owl may have eaten. So these are some things you probably should have found in the owl pellet. One of the things we're going to discuss here in your discussion questions is in your owl pellet, what did you discover about the limb bones in particular? What did you see? Did you observe what did you observe about them, and what did they tell you? Obviously, we know it's a rodent, right? We know and understand that it was a rodent. So it's important for us to understand that the limbs went from one bone to two bones to many bones. We understand that modern vertebrates have general limb structures to the ancient tetrapods. So yes, we are similar. And perhaps there is a connection, and we know for a fact that there is. So make sure you understand that. As for understanding the reading, we're going to go over and discuss that real quickly so we can just understand a little bit more about the reading. So how did the vertebrates colonize the land? What are the transitional forms that they tell us about the story? And who were the aquatic ancestors of the tetrapods? These are three essential questions you should have been able to answer in the interview with Jennifer Clack. I always say Clark, so apologies if I say that again. So these are some three questions you should have been able to answer. You should be able to compare and contrast the information with those questions. Using the models, you should be able to make a timeline illustrating how far the transitions have changed. You should also be able to understand and make inferences and understand about a little bit who she is and kind of what she does by looking at this interview. So what is the author's purpose? So what are the pros and cons of the protocol? So one of the things we understand in this protocol is we have to have one in order for us to understand in our specimens. We need to make sure that there's a response to how we see things so we can organize them. If we didn't have things to follow, then we wouldn't know how to understand things. And then one of the things I want you to do is, what questions, if you have any, about the animals that we've seen in this article? So make sure you answer these questions. Make sure you have turned this in if you have not already. You will be graded on this. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Other than that, again, have a great day, and we'll get ready for our next lesson.